Hey guys, happy Halloween. Well, post-Halloween. This would be, I think, November 2nd. This is all the rest of the lore bits. I posted a few yesterday and a few more today. This is the special stuff for Revelations. See, I'm using the keyboard right now, and, There we go. Still confused. Going to look at, let's start with vampiric powers. Nah, let's start with inventory. Lore. Belmont lineage. We already know all of this. Light. This is a new one. Castle Dwellers. Keeper of the Void Sword. Serving the orders that echo of the castle give... Serving the orders that echo of the castle give them, the dungeon jailers... No. Serving the orders that the echo of the castle gives them, the dungeon jailers quickly hid the Void Sword to keep Dracula from finding it on his return. The leader, more corpulent and better armored than the rest, carries the weapon clumsily, followed by a group of henchmen with little interest in self-preservation. Despite not understanding how its magical properties work, the Keeper of the Void Sword seems to be affected by the energy that envelops it, making him able to project it at will. The enormous beast's fascination when contemplating the cold blade of the Void Sword makes it clear that no creature will be able to take it away from him except over his dead body. The sword does not belong to you, Alucard. And back. That's not the button. Okay, what is B? F. Okay. Harpy of the Depths. Yeah, okay, we saw that in a previous video. Bloody Skeleton, no, Bloody Lancer. The remains of the elite guard who one day fought at the forefront against the forces of the Brotherhood of Light were left afloat adrift after the defeat of the Prince of Darkness. However, the cursed blood of Dracula soon invaded the castle, covering their bones and reviving their extremities to defend the legacy of their lord. The Bloody Lancers are experts in the use of the weapons that give them their name, and they use their disciplined combat training to impale any creature, beast, or man who dares enter their domain. Step aside or I'll crush your bones, Alucard. Navigators. He was originally a traveler from another plane with a humanoid appearance who, attracted by the evil of the castle, succumbed to the void power within it. The extreme prolonged exposure to the energy that Dracula offered deformed him and divided his being into different deformed avatars. Free from concepts such as pain, time, or existence itself, the plural creature adapted to the lack of gravity or space-related limitations of beings that exist in just one plane, expanding and occupying several corners of the castle at the same time. This is confusing. Moved by the need to satisfy the Keeper of the Void Sword, the Navigators responded to his presence, folding space around him and transporting him from one point in the fortress to the other. However, the dragon's sleep detained the energy flow needed to prevail, and after several centuries they finally perished. Zobic Society, Zobic Lieutenant. Anything here new? Nope, nothing new about him. Soldier's Diaries. Indignant Arnold. What is that idiot thinking? Not only does he call me inept, but he also orders me to walk through the snowstorm in search of a safe entrance for the rest of the division. While he's sitting there, I'm risking my neck out here. But of course, he's in charge. And to top it off, to show his enormous generosity to the rest, he gave me a frayed map that I'm supposed to understand. How the hell am I supposed to read with this? I can't even tell a damp state on the tower from Dracula himself. When I get back, I'm going to give that cretin a piece of my mind. Morian's Door. Members of my division were conducting reconnaissance outside the castle, preparing for the assault when we were caught up in a terrible snowstorm. Fearing that we would be trapped with time against us, we decided to split up and to find a way in. After a tedious journey, I found a passage into the mountain. I followed it into a circular anteroom with a strange device at its center and an enormous metal door. I pushed it, beat it, and stabbed it with my sword with all my might. The tremendous cold had frozen its hinges, making it an impassive giant that laughed at my insistence. I will finish this report, rest a bit, and return to my comrades. I am sure the proud door will be kind enough to cede to the subtle passages of our maces and battering rams. Sir Francis's invitation. Buried in the snow, I found an invitation that might have belonged to an old visitor to the castle. On golden paper, written in ink in bright colors, the following can be read. Welcome to the Toy Maker's marvelous guest house. Spend an unforgettable night with the most exotic creatures. Enjoy a juggling show with shields and knives. Dine on unique dishes made with delicious manticore glands. Dance until dawn in our steak room. Don't wait another second, and come right in. Sir Thomas's Last Chance. Dance, Sir Thomas's Last Dance. Safe at last. I'm now quite sure that I managed to get out of that last passageway alive. Could it be that this new lightweight armor I'm wearing has brought me luck? This room actually looks a lot like a ballroom. I can't really see what's in the middle of the room from here, perhaps a modern musical device to liven up the evenings, but it seems to be in bad shape. If I was skilled enough to repair it... Wish you were here, my love, to dance with you again. Damned war. And damned shield. I pulled it off one of the statues, but I doubt it's worth taking with me because I don't know that it'll be of use against the traps. I'm going to rest for a moment. To think about my next move and try to heal my wounds. I think I was hit by one of those stakes and haven't got much ointment left, but I'll survive and I'll return home to dance with you, my love. Angry Sir Rolf. The angry video game nerd is in this game. James Rolfe. I figured out how to get out of this damned ballroom. It had a convenient mortal saw installed in the center. I was also able to dodge the blades of the lethal grid in the previous room, and despite that, here I am, unable to get past this new trap. The solution seems so impossible to me that my only hope is to lay here and wait to see if a whirlwind will come and take me to my destination. Castlevania 2 reference! The thing is that the strange pegs from the upper room lower and raise the lift when you loosen them, but how does the toy maker expect someone to hang on to the peg in one room and at the same time be inside the lift? There's no way the toy maker has designed an enigma that is impossible to solve. I wouldn't expect something like that from the puppet master. Out of sheer desperation, I tried to jump through the gap to try and quickly reach the booth before the door of the lift closes. Bad idea. Now I'm lying here with my legs broken and a quill in my hand complaining about my misfortune. Chief Adrian's Diary. Day 1. This pool of putrid blood spills out of the bones of its victims in waves. Swimming across it is impossible. I can barely stand the stench. I need to get away to eat my rations. Day 3. Maybe I could bring some floating objects to this lake and jump across from one jump from one to another to the other side. Day 3. Evening. There are vampires nearby. If God gives me strength, I'll find appropriate boxes. My rations are finished. Soon I will no longer be a good fighter. Day 5. I've got the boxes here now. And they float!
Oh yes, Georgie. They float!
If I can get past the hunger, I'll soon be able to cross this damn flooded room. Day 6. I was splashed by a bit of blood, but I made it to the other side. Maybe it isn't lethal in small amounts. I just need to try not to fall into it. Soon I'll figure out the mechanism on the other side of the lake. Day 6. I've found a new way to feed myself. Today is my lucky day. With renewed energy, I think I'll think hard and resolve the enigma. Recipe. Grind and chop a bit of onion and parsley and heat it with the blood, filtering out any bones. Take out the chopped produce before it begins to fry. Clean out the clots and allow it to cool. Interesting. Carl's weariness. I'm tired of wandering through the rooms of this damned castle one after the other. The blood that envelops it never stops trying to devour me, and although I know the way out, I still haven't got the energy. The process seems simple. Put weight on the pressure mechanism and run towards the exit before it closes, or the blood engulfs the path. However, it gets more complicated with each new room I discover, and I don't think I'm fast enough to get past this final challenge. I feel ya. I feel you there, man. So that's all the story stuff. Now time to look at some of our weapons and such. Let's start with Spirit Wolf. Spectral Wolf. It is said that as soon as a vampire is born, every detail involved in that instant places a permanent mark on the nature of the new creature. Trevor was converted by his father one night under a full moon, and he was strongly affected by its wild influence. Since then, every night that the moon is full, Alucard awakens the ability to project his spirit in the form of a white wolf and travel through the world without physical limitations. Many travelers have told stories of how, in times of need, an enormous white wolf came to them to guide them along safe paths. And that's how to use Spectral Wolf. I hate the worst power we have that leads to the worst puzzles. Timeless Vision. Centuries after finishing off Dracula, Alucard continued to recreate in his mind each one of the rooms in the castle he then visited, trying to remember every wall, every door, and every statue, suspecting that one day it would be very useful to him. He wasn't mistaken, as with the return of his father, the castle, too, rose up again from the rubble. Now he is the only one who, like his father, has the necessary link to return the splendor to every corner of the fortress, projecting his memories and making the image he retains of them intangible. Bat Cloud. The Curse of the Blood means the entire compendium of mysteries for those who have lived long enough to study it. From what little is known, it has been determined that with time it tends to mutate to adapt to the needs of its carrier, offering new and twisted abilities with which to ensure survival. In the case of Alucard, who lacks the wings common in other members of his species, except in the game he appeared in, second game he appeared in, the blood has improved his power to dominate vermin to the point of being able to take their shape temporarily. With this skill, the son of Dracula can divide himself into hundreds of bats to reach distant places in less than a heartbeat of his victims. Any new of these that we don't? No, we know all about all of these. What's this? Yeah, we know that. Okay. Heart of the Wolf. When Dracula gave him his blood after taking his life in a brutal fight, Trevor began a radical metamorphosis that lasted 3 decades. When he awoke, the corrupt inheritance of his father had taken over every inch of his being, giving him supernatural powers that cost him his humanity. Since then, he has been fighting against the darkness, regenerating his wounds with the blood of his enemies, and swearing to use his curse to defend mankind till the end of his days. The Crisegrim. Really cool sword. Bit too long for my taste, but... Using the tip of the vampire killer left by his father in Carmilla's heart and the remains of the other two swords, Alucard forged Crisegrim, an extremely lethal weapon molded in the likeness of its owner, retaining all the power of the originals in its alloy. From the vampire killer, it retains the ability to punish its peers, paralyzing them in a state of infinite agony. From Glacium and Igneous, the elemental swords for the underworld, it inherits the icy ability to absorb life and the burning intensity of flames capable of melting any armor. When the cold hands of its bearer so require, the broadsword unleashes all the energy of these weapons, enabling them to give new meaning to the act of severing limbs. Let's first look at Glacium Blade. Glacium was the name of a graceful magical rapier that took the lives of thousands of Brotherhood soldiers before being destroyed by one of their paladins. There is no record of its first owner, and even less is known about the master blacksmith who forged it, only that it was associated with a terrible curse that fell upon all those who laid a hand on it. Likely the icy finger of death itself, the blade drained the vitality from its enemies and injected it into the body of its bearer, making him practically invincible in battle. It was an unmatched power that led its owners to suffer terrible deaths, painful losses, and drove its few survivors mad under its influence. Today its essence is hidden in the metal that makes up the Crisegrim, and its sharp blade remains in waiting to be called upon once more by its new master. Fun, fun, fun! Igneous Blade. In the times before the arrival of the Lords of Shadow, an unscrupulous general managed to make a deal with the Demon King Igneous. In it, he offered to fulfill an unknown wish for the creature in exchange for the key to the entire castle he meant to conquer. The key was none other than an enormous broadsword with an eternal flame capable of consuming any material it hit against. With it, its owner was able to conquer 100 territories and terrorize the rest of the free countries, until the demon returned to collect on his debt. The infernal creature broke the seal that held the agreement closed, and inside he read, "That which is gained by fire must be destroyed by fire." The general, enraged, brandished the magical sword, devastating everything in his way until all of his cities were reduced to ashes and his weapon shattered into pieces. The fragments that could be rediscovered were mixed with the steel of Crisegrim, and still today light up its blade with the intensity of hell. What else do we got? I think there's a few more. Basic actions, not important relics. Yeah, none of that's really relevant. So yeah, that's the all the lore stuff we got for Revelations. Sorry, Matthew couldn't be here for this, but I think he did enough by helping me, well, beat the frickin' lieutenant. That's 2 vampire games he's helped me beat. So yeah, and have a good one, and I'll see you all this coming Monday with the first episode of my next Let's Play, which, in all likelihood, is gonna be Batman Vengeance. Till next time. Hey, thanks for watching. This has been played, recorded, and edited by me, Marek D'Amato. The art was by Revalations. You can find a link to her commission page below, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao.